Good morning, P3 students. Welcome to our lesson 2 about classifying plants. And in today's lesson, the schedule of the day is first, we learn about plants that produce seeds versus plants that do not produce seeds and they produce something called spores. Second, plants that produce fruits versus plants which do not bear any fruits. Third, we'll also look at some useful and some harmful plants. Lastly, you have a homework and it's a very interesting homework. You will look at it in detail in the next slide. This is the homework for your unit. For this unit, your homework is to follow the steps below, plant a seed or few seeds. So you have to do it systematically according to the pictures given. First, get a pot, get some soil, get seeds, plant them. Okay, it could be any seed. And then you have to add water, give it some sunlight, and have to follow proper steps. And I want you to record the result, how each day, if you see if your plant is growing a little bit, just write it down on a piece of paper or take a picture and see how the embryo grows into a new baby plant and gradually it grows into a big plant. So video record your presentation and share your results. If you have a video, remember to upload it in the Google Classroom and get 20 CMS stickers from your teacher. Look at the slide in front of you. What do you see? What are these pictures? What do they represent? Yes, we see a lot of seeds. Look at both the pictures and you can see a big coconut, you can see pulses, you can see corn, you can see acorn, you can see some leaves, and you can see here that in our food that we eat every day, there are so many seeds. We see fruits with one seed and sometimes we see a fruit with multiple seeds. Can you give me an example? Something like papaya or melon, it has lots of seeds inside. Even look at the picture in front of you, like cucumber or tomato, it has so many seeds. Whereas if you look at something such as mango, it has only one seed. So plants can be classified whether they produce seeds or spores. Plants that produce seeds, they reproduce differently from plants they produce spores, so they are a little bit different. All flowering plants produce fruits. Plants which have flowers, the flowers grow into fruits and seeds are found inside the fruits. Okay, and it is those seeds that grow into a new plant. In this slide, we'll look at how the structure of the seed is and what are its different parts. Look at the parts of seed in front of you. Mainly, the parts can be classified into three. They are the outer seed coat, embryo, and the seed leaf. Now, the seed coat is the outer covering of the seed. It protects the seed from drying and it protects it from injury. And there is something called the embryo. Can you see the top right arrow? That's the embryo and it's found inside the seed. Now this is a very important part of the seed and it allows it to grow to a new plant under suitable conditions. What are the suitable conditions? We all know if you want to plant something or if you want to plant a seed, you have to have soil sometimes. Most of the time you have to have soil. Then you have to water it. You have to give it like the sunlight. So under suitable conditions, the seed can grow into a new plant. And then you have the seed leaf. Now the seed leaf, it contains the food stored for the growing embryo. Okay. Now you look at the picture on your right. We can see from different parts of the seed that a seed is a baby plant, how you can see the seed inside and then you can see the embryo growing out and germinating into a plant. It's got the soil, it's got the moisture, and under suitable conditions, seeds can grow into plants. Now I want all of you to click on this link and watch the video about germination of a seed. Hope all of you have watched the video and you're familiar with different parts of a seed and the germination of a seed. So let's just revise. Let's see if you still remember the different parts of the seed. What is, let's say C, the arrow C, what is it pointing to? It's on the outside, it's covering the seed. Yeah, it's called the seed coat. It protects, it covers the seed and it protects it from injuries and keeps it from drying. Let's look at the arrow on the left. A, what is it? It's pointing to the big mass inside. It's the seed leaf. It stores the food for the growing plant. And what is B? B is the embryo, the most important part of the seed from where it starts, the baby plant starts to grow. In this slide, we look at spore-producing plants. Non-flowering plants such as ferns, moss, they produce spores instead of seeds. Now, spores are much smaller than seeds. Almost all flowerless plants, that means plants which have only leaves, they produce spores. And these spores are at the back of the leaf. They're attached to the back of the leaf like a small sac. Do you see in this right hand side picture, do you see small dots, white dots at the back of the leaf? And these are spore bags. And some common examples of non-flowering plants are given at the bottom. You see moss, we see moss, all of you must have seen this. You know ferns, leafy plant, green plants, sometimes we have ferns in the houses. Of course, we can see them in the gardens and parks outside. Horsetails. Now here you see a picture of moss that is on a piece of rock, and you see it's the more like a closer picture of a spore capsule here, and you can see how the spores are present inside the moss. This is very microscopic. In this slide, we'll look at fruit-bearing versus non-fruit-bearing plants. Which plants bear fruits and which plants do not bear fruits? Again, first we saw the classification of plants into seed-producing versus spore-producing, plants that produce seeds and plants that produce spores. Now we move on to plants that produce fruits versus plants that do not produce any fruits. Now, how do plants produce fruits? Let's look at the life cycle. First, it always starts with a seed. You have a small seed, apple seed, you grow into the soil, you put it into the soil, and then the embryo germinates into a small baby plant, and it has its roots and it starts growing. It grows into a big apple tree. The apple tree starts having flowers, and these flowers, they grow into fruits. The flowers of a plant develop into fruits. Look at this beautiful picture. Lots of fruits, lots of colors. We all eat fruits every day. Some fruits are big, some are small, some are fleshy, some are juicy, some are hard, and oranges, tomatoes, grapes, some examples of fleshy fruits, but we also know other fruits which are fleshy. Can you think of any? There are certain fruits which are dry, such as hazelnuts, peas, and dandelions. They are examples of fruits which are dry. Chestnut, again, it's very dry. We eat it in winter. Yum, yum. As you can see on page 63, that fruits develop from different types of flowers. Different flowers, they reproduce and give different fruits, such as one flower can reproduce and develop into a single fruit, whereas some flowers develop into many tiny fruits clustered together, and some flowers, they just give one big fruit. Now, can you identify from the picture on your right a fruit that is developed into many clusters of tiny fruits clustered together. Can you spot that picture? Can you spot a plant which has flowered into a big fruit? Can you see that? Yes, we can all see that, right? Pineapple is one big fruit here, and raspberries, mulberry are tiny fruits which are clustered together into one big fruit. Now, what are non-fruit bearing plants? Now, since fruits are developed from flowers, plants that do not have any flowers, they do not have any fruits. Can you think of any flowers? Can you think of any plants which do not have any flowers? Something like fern, mosses, conifers. These are plants which do not have any flowers and therefore they do not have any fruits. In this slide, we look at useful and harmful plants. Which plants are useful and which plants are harmful to us? Many plants are useful to us. They provide us food, energy, and they're also used for making other products. Besides, they also help keep the environment clean. However, there are some plants that are harmful to us. If you eat them or touch them, that can make you sick. Look at the pictures on your left. Pumpkin, it can cause swelling of the mouth if you eat it, and the flowers below, if you eat them, they can cause severe vomiting and diarrhea. So it's very important for you not to touch any plant or flower if you're going outside, because sometimes even touching some plants can give you a rash or something. So it's better not to touch them and do not eat them because some plants can be harmful to us. And can you see the rubber tire on the left hand side? Now, this is made from a plant, rubber plant, rubber tree, which gives rubber sap, and that sap is used to make rubber, and that rubber is used to make a rubber tree. And likewise, besides the tires, even jute is made from plants, and there are many other products like cotton from cotton tree, and cotton is a fabric which is very popular. So besides giving us food, energy, keeping the environment clean, and having a balance in our environment by having a good greenery around us, green plants around us, it also gives us lots of other products. Let's recap what we've learned in this lesson. In this lesson, we learned woody, non-woody stems. We learned flowering, non-flowering. And in today's lesson, we learned about seeds and spores, plants that produce seeds and plants that produce spores. We also looked at fruit-bearing and non-fruit-bearing, plants that produce flowers, which grow into fruits, and non-fruit bearing is plants which do not produce any flowers, they do not produce any fruits, they are the non-fruit bearing. And then we looked at useful and harmful plants. So that's the end of the lesson. You will have a next lesson about the same topic, which will be a review lesson next week. However, now the homework is you need to finish blanks 1 to 10. And also, as mentioned earlier, you have to plant a seed. So go back to the earlier slide for homework about planting a seed.